Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to Cantina Scary Hour this 30th of October, 2025. The day before my favorite day of the year, Halloween. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is great to be here on our Thursday night, hanging out with you guys, the Cantinians, on this Halloween Eve. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? Sweet. Cool. Finally, social hour. I've been waiting for this moment all week long. And here we are, finally getting ready to hang out, finally getting ready to talk toys and collectibles, and to have a merry old time here, or scary old time, rather, getting into it. So you guys saw from the banner, we have a few things to talk about this week in terms of toy news. There is a little bit to look at from Hasbro Star Wars. MCM London took place last weekend, and there were some reveals that took place there. We're going to take a look at those. We're going to talk about those specific reveals and share our thoughts, see what you guys' thoughts are. We're also going to talk about Hot Toys because they just dropped a figure that people have been waiting for a really, really long time. I figured that they actually teased years ago when they released the Bespin Princess Leia figure. And now we're finally getting to see the figure all these years later. What's it been, like 6 years? Ridiculously long time. But finally, for the first time ever, we're seeing what this figure looks like. And it is rather glorious. We're going to talk about that. There is the new McFarlane Batman classic TV series reveal from this week. And then we also have, this is our, of course there's going to be ghost talk, of course there's going to be spooky stuff, of course there's going to be paranormal shenanigans, and if with any luck, maybe we will be visited tonight by the virtual ghost. No, not the virtual ghost, like by the actual ghost. We don't want the virtual ghost. The virtual ghost needs to stay in the confines of its virtual world, out of the internet, the wilderness of the internet, and not affect us tonight. But we do want to see the actual ghost, which has made an appearance on the show before, as you may recall, a couple years back. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much again for being here this hour, October 30th, 2025. And there's a possibility that next week's show may be on Tuesday. I'm still working out the details of that and seeing how that works out. But there's a possibility for next week, at least it may be on Tuesday. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted through Instagram, and I'll update you there with the day of the show. But anyway, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to talk spooky things and scary toys and all the creepy stuff that is appropriate for this time of the year. All right, let's see who is in the cantina with us thus far into the evening. Adam, our moderator, says the cantina is open. Looking forward to hanging out with all of you and getting some good scares. Nice. Thank you so much, Adam, for moderating. We really appreciate it. We've got Dodgson. It's that time of the year again, telling some spooky stories and serving spooky beverages. Oh, what do you got over there at the soda fountain, Dodgson? Do you have something special lined up? Any Halloween themed libations that you are concocting over in the cantina? We want to know. We want to know what they are. Let's see here. I'm just reading the banter. Cool. We got Rick in the house. Hey, Rick, how's it going? So that Stranger Things 5 trailer that dropped today might be the best edited story trailer I've seen in a decade. Watched it 10 times. I heard that was out. I have not had a chance to see it yet, but that makes me even more excited to see the trailer for Stranger Things. How long has it been since Stranger Things? What was that, 2022, I think? 3 years? I appreciate that we're still getting this show after all these years, but I do got to say, I don't really remember a lot of what happened in some of the earlier seasons. I think I just need to rewatch all of it before I get into the latest season, because I honestly, I'm blanking on it's just been so long, right? These lately series are so many years apart that by the time you get back into it, you watch the latest season, you're like I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I have a hard time remembering what happened when there's so many years between seasons for some of these shows. Sci-Fi Dude says, "What's up, TVC family? Hello, Sci-Fi Dude. Good to see you. We got our friend Britt with us. Hey, Britt. Good to see you. Pico is with us. Hello, Pico One. Hello there, my friends. Happy Halloween Eve. And I'm digging the blue snaggletooth there on his avatar. Allison is with us saying, happy Halloween Eve, folks. Absolutely. 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 Good to see you, Allison. Who else is with us? Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll definitely discuss. Isam's with us. Good to see you, Isam. He says it would be a great day for a Cantina 4-pack reveal. I mean, I would love that. I mean, if Hasbro said, "Hey, Victoria, do you want to unveil this 4-pack?" I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that." But I think the last thing they had me reveal was the Black Series Tala figure from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I mean, not the most exciting reveal. I mean, especially when your focus is TVC, but I mean, I guess it was cool. Like post, that was cool. Sci-Fi Dude says, "Let's go Dodgers." Yep, World Series. John Miko TVC. Yo, what up, Mr. Miko? How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's see who else. Steven is with us. Hey, Steven, good to see you. Thank you for hanging out. Got Mary with us. Hey, Mary, good to see you as always. William is with us. Good to see you, William, as always. How's it going, Britt? Good to see you. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Dodgen says, I caught the ghost, but pump 2 needs some quick repairs. Where did I put my wrench? Thank you for being on top of that, Dodgen. Is it pump 2? Hopefully it's pump number 2, because at least we know how to. If it's pump 3, then we could be screwed. So hopefully it's pump 2. John says, I've rewatched it so many times. I need to rewatch. I never rewatched it in full. Vision season 3 started last night. Caught a few episodes. I didn't even know that was out. I haven't even finished season 1. Started watching season 1, and then when it came out, and I saw maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and I was like, and I started falling asleep. So I just never went back to it. One day I will. Just who has the time? Who has the time? Alex, good to see you. Alex, good to see you. Dodson, this is your job. You got to know about these things. Of course there's a pump number 3. Of course there's a pump number 3. So what's up, Nicholas? Good to see you. It's happy Halloween. Sci-Fi Dude says, Victoria, are you going to show us your costumes? Yes, of course I will. When we get to the spooky part of the show, I definitely will show you guys my costumes. I've had 3 costumes so far this year. I am totally in Halloween mode, and I intend to keep it that way even past Halloween. I guess that's pretty normal, though, for me. 17.28. What is up? Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Just so you guys know, I am spread thin right now. I'm really, really at the, I'm going to be a little loopy. I know I'm always loopy. I'm going to be a little extra loopy. I'm just warning you guys now. I am just going to warn you guys, and yeah, I'm going to be a little bit loopy. I'm going to be a little bit wacky, a little more so than normal, because I am drained. I am drained. I think I maybe slept 3 hours, but that's okay. That's life. Just really busy these days. But I've always got time for my Cantinians, of course. Pico B1 says, is there where my drink came from, Dodge? No wonder it looks like that. Bring on the loop. I'll do my best, Adam. I aim to please. All right. All right. Well, let me jump over to McFarlane's site, because there is a brand new item to discuss. There is a brand new item to discuss, and it's kind of an exciting one. I mean, if you like the Batman stuff, which I do, like my top three fandoms are Star Wars, of course, always number one, always has been, always will be, and then second is Jurassic, and then my third one is Batman, and then anything else after that is like a pretty long gap. Like those are like the big three. Of course, I love Ghostbusters, right? I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I prefer Ghostbusters. And then what else? I'm looking around there. What else? Indiana Jones. Just Disney in general, right? Like Disney animated, like classic films. Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are some of my favorites. But the big three, like Batman, is easily in the top three. So McFarlane is doing yet another Batmobile. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. We have a brand new Batmobile. And this is the classic TV series Batmobile from the 1960s, Adam West and Burt Ward series. And if you're not aware of this, and you may be asking yourself, didn't they already do this? Yes, they did do this several years back when they first got the DC license. But it was really small, and it was meant to accommodate their 6-inch scale retro figures that they sold at Target at the time. And this one is bigger. You guys know McFarlane primarily does like 7-inch scale. I think it's like technically it's like 6-inch is 1/12 scale. So I guess a 7-inch figure would be like what, 1/10 scale? I'm not 100% sure, but maybe 1/11th. I don't know. But yeah, they make bigger 7-inch figures, and this new Batmobile is meant to accommodate those larger size figures. The problem is they've only ever made one Batman figure that is compatible with this Batmobile, and it came out about a year ago, I want to say, maybe a little under a year ago, and it has been sold out for a really long time. It was really hard to get. I got really lucky with Walmart, was able to get it, but it was really hard to get. And there is no Robin that goes along with that Batman. Was there ever a moment that in that series where Batman rode in the Batmobile without Robin? I mean, maybe. I just don't remember it. So that's basically what this is meant to be. It's going to be their large. So it's going to fit in with, any of their other Batmobiles they've released over the last couple of years. And they've done pretty much all of them. They've done the Batman 89. They've done even the Flash variant. They've done the Tumbler. They've done the Batman Forever. They've done the Batman and Robin. They've done the Camo Tumbler even. They've done they did a crowdfund for the Batman v Superman / Justice League version, which I intended to do, and I missed it because, just like I said, busy. I missed it. I wanted to get it. I missed it. It was a crowdfund, so I'm probably not going to be able to get that one unless I pay a lot later, which I don't want to do. And then they've even done like some other like comic book versions as well. Well, this is what that is. This is going to fit in with that larger scale Batmobile. I'm excited for it. I did pre-order it through Amazon. But like I said, they need to find a way to get figures out for this Batmobile because there's nothing. There's literally nothing on the market right now like for this Batmobile to be compatible with, other than the one that you have to get on eBay because it's sold out everywhere. It's a great figure. The cape's a little big, but it is a fantastic figure. It's one of their better figures that they've done, the Adam West Batman. But it's not the 6-inch, it's the 7-inch version of it, the Adam West Batman. And yeah, so Batmobile with no figures, kind of weird. They need to find a way to get Batman back out, and also Robin at the very least in that larger scale. But yeah, this is available for pre-order. I think it did pre-sell out in a couple places, maybe like Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, places like that. But I got mine through Amazon pre-ordered. I don't know if it's still up. I think McFarlane directly, you could pre-order through them too. And just looking at the pictures, I think it looks pretty nice. I mean, I have a lot of issues with McFarlane. I mean, that's no secret. I've talked about this before. But one thing I will say is I give them a lot of credit for actually making these cars, because you know full well that if Mattel still had the larger scale license for DC, they would not be doing these. Like, there's just no way. No way they would be doing these. And that's the Batman right there. That's the larger 7-inch scale Batman right there. Great figure. I really enjoy it. Torso cut's a little, doesn't look great, but it's a great figure. I also have the Christopher Reeve Superman in this scale, which is also fantastic. Probably even better than this Batman. So yeah, it's really cool that they're expanding this line, but you gotta have figures for this vehicle. You gotta have figures. See, there's Batman, but no Robin. Batman, but no Robin. Where's Robin? Is he being held by the Joker? Didn't King Tut get to him before Batman could save him? Does Catwoman have him? Is she holding him ransom? Is it possible that the Mad Hatter used his hat to hypnotize Robin? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Penguins got him. Who knows? It could be any number of possibilities. But Allison says he's still hanging out with Catwoman. That's what I would be doing. I'm not going to lie. I would be hanging out with Catwoman too, especially if it was Julie Newmar or Eartha Kitt. Either one. I'd be hanging out with them too instead of Batman. Why would you want to hang out with Batman? Like, I mean, when you could hang out with Catwoman. I mean, honestly, right? Like, this version anyway. This version. Other versions, that might not be the case, but this version, like, yeah, 100%. I would prefer to hang out with Julie Newmar Catwoman instead of Adam West Batman. I mean, come on. Adam West Batman, I mean, I love, obviously, but Adam West Batman's kind of like the dad Batman of Batman, if that makes sense, right? He's got like dad jokes, kind of got a little bit of a dad bod going on, especially like later in the show. Especially when you look at the when you look at this figure, you kind of see it. Where is he? Right, a little bit thick, not in a bad way. We appreciate him just as he is. But look at are there fingerprints on that picture? Are those fingerprints in there? Oh man, I hope that's not what that is. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Anyway, what's interesting about this car, you guys, is that Mattel did do a larger Batmobile than what McFarlane did several years back. They did a larger one I don't know how it compares to this one. I know that McFarlane did send this Batmobile out to a couple of people on Instagram so they could like show pictures of it and stuff. But the ones that I've seen, those collectors did not have the Mattel version. I have the Mattel version. It's bigger than the old McFarlane one. It's a nice car. I wonder, like, if this is just the Mattel one. Like, I doubt it. I wonder if it's the Mattel one or if it's like a totally brand new car. I mean, I have no idea. I really have no idea. But I really want to see a side-by-side comparison, even though I do have mine. I guess whenever it comes in December, I think is what it said. Hey, Figure Report is with us. How's it going, Mikey? Good to see you hanging out with us this evening. Are there boxed images here? Yep. Let's take a look at the box. So the box looks like any of these other Batmobiles, pretty much the same, like, sort of aesthetic. But it does have the Batman Classic TV series logo going on, which is a really cool logo, I gotta say. It would be cool. It would be cool if this lit up, because some of their Batmobiles do light up. The Batman Forever lights up. The Batman the Animated Series lights up. The Batman and Robin lights up. It would be cool if this one lit up, but I don't think it does. That's what I'm kind of wondering, is could it possibly be the old Mattel one, just like repainted? Like, I have no idea. I have no idea. But either way, it's cool. It's cool to see it. Dodson says that could be a great spin-off. Where's Waldo, but where's Robin book? Where is Robin? We don't know. Depends on whether you want to have fun or share personal trauma. I guess so, right? Just remember that physics don't exist in the Batman TV show. That is true. That is kind of true. Okay, Dodgen's taking drink orders, you guys, at the soda fountain. Soda fountain. All right. So I'm going to jump over to Bantha Skull so we can shift gears here and look at some brand new stuff. Brand new stuff from this past weekend. Like I was saying, MCM London took place, and Hasbro was there. They revealed a few new things, and we're going to do what we do best. We're going to talk about such things. Now, I'm wondering, I'm wondering if Hasbro even sent publicity images, because I don't think I received any. So we may need to jump over to Entertainment Earth and take a look at the pictures there, because I really don't think that Hasbro sent out. Maybe John, you can attest to this. You can confirm, but I do not remember getting press images from Hasbro for these, which is kind of weird. Yeah, John says they never sent them. Okay, wasn't just me. Ecto Cooler. What are you guys drinking? I want some Ecto Cooler. All I have is water. Water. Something for Allison. Hey, Brent, how's it going? Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm going to jump over to Entertainment Earth then, because they did not send. I don't know why they didn't send press images. That's weird. That is really weird. Let's take a look at, we're going to start with the vintage collection. And, wow, pre-sold out, you guys. This case pre-sold out. It went up for pre-order, what, on Tuesday? And yeah, I'm surprised the whole case already pre-sold out. That's awesome. So let's talk about the images, because there are pictures in here. So in short, this is the wave right here. This is the wave. You got Shock T, the Stranger, Darth Maul, Padme Amidala, and then Darth Vader Emperor's Wrath. Darth Vader Emperor's Wrath. I love how they came up with that name back during the Power of the Jedi line, and they just stuck with it. They just stuck with the name. Because they've been using it ever since. So let's take a look at, so you guys knew about Padme, you knew about Shock T. We don't need to spend a ton of time on them. But there are some new figures that are in this wave that were revealed for the first time. So let's go ahead and talk about those first. All right, so here's the first one. Let's go to Repack City for just a little bit, you guys. All right. Right here. So Maul from Shadow Lord, the new animated series that's, I guess, coming out next year. So This is, as far as I can tell, basically the same exact figure that came out previously. What was that? Maybe like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And it's a fantastic figure. I think to this day, this is probably like a top 10 TVC figure. It's really, really great. It's a fantastic figure. And this head sculpt in particular is just exquisite. I feel like they need to use this head sculpt on a brand new Darth Maul from Phantom Menace. But it is a repack. And they did mention that they're going to be doing more from this series. I don't really know much about the series. I know Maul's obviously in it. The card looks good. You know, one thing that I don't think anyone ever really, I don't know if it's that we didn't ask or we never really just got clarity from Hasbro is why they went back to like the really animated looking card backs. Because if you recall TVC 1.0 back in 2010 to early 2013, the cards, they would always do a realistic interpretation of the card images, right? They did that with the Clone Wars Anakin, Clone Wars Obi-Wan, back in the day. Well, then at some point over, the TVC 2.0, they decided like, hey, let's just do them based on the source material. So it's all animated. Even the previous Darth Maul, that's this figure is based on, or this figure is really, has an animated card. So I don't know if anyone ever really got like exact clarity, like when they decided to change the strategy. But anyway, it is interesting to note. But yeah, so this is Maul. It is a repack. I do like the card. It looks great. The yellow and the red look really good. Yeah, really nice. Really, really nice. There's the back. VC201. So it does have the same number as the previous one. I guess it's not 201A or whatever they were trying to do for a little bit. It's just VC201, but alternate card. I kind of lost track of what the rules are now for the numbers. I'm not even going to try. Some pictures of the figure. Here he is. I mean, maybe you already have this figure, so you already have it. There's not much to say. The card's really the only new thing about it, I believe. But he does look nice. I'm sure there will be some slight paint difference. I'm sure it's going to be slightly different somehow or another. But he does look very, very nice. The next one that was revealed is also a repack. And that is going to be this gentleman right here. So this is Darth Vader. And then in parentheses, they're very clear, Emperor's Wrath. Again, I find it kind of hilarious that they came up with that name back in the Power of the Jedi line, and then they just stuck with it. I mean, that's basically what it is, though. It's the Emperor's Wrath, right? He's like, electrocute you. Shh. That whole thing. I love this card, you guys. I love this card. I think it's awesome. I think it's an awesome card. I really dig the dark blue for the name pill. Gorgeous card. But, I got to say, I feel like in general, they do an amazing job with all the Darth Vaders. I really do. I really feel like they do a great job with all the Darth Vaders. I think we're missing one image here, but here's the card from an angle. Really nice. I like that it's not just Darth Vader, but like he's actually being shocked. The only other picture that I kind of would have been like, ooh, that's nice too, is when the camera's cutting back between Luke and Vader, and you see Vader like conflicted, trying to make a decision. Like that image of just like the Vader helmet, like would have been awesome as well. But maybe they could use that for something else. But yeah, I think this looks awesome. This is a really nice card. This is a really nice card. The figure itself, though, there's the back. PC 385. The figure itself. Oh, interesting. I'm just thinking. I wonder if this is like a little Easter egg type not Easter egg, but like a little hidden thing. So you know how these figures are 3.75. Never mind. Never mind. I was looking at 385 and I was trying to mathematically like compute that into like his like Darth Vader size, but no, that doesn't make any sense. They're all 375, supposedly, except C-3PO is too small, and the astromech droids are too big. But anyway, and BB-8's too small, but he's not even in TVC, so I can't really talk about BB-8. This figure is a repack. If you bought the 3-pack that had Anakin earlier this year from Clone Wars, and then Revenge of the Sith with the dark side version of the Darth Vader, and then Emperor's Wrath Darth Vader, you already have this figure. I don't think there's anything different here. I'll tell you one thing though. Does anybody remember that the Power of the Jedi one glowed in the dark? Does anyone remember that the skull glowed in the dark? Because I think this would have made like for a really cool opportunity for a variant, right? Because we already have this figure. But if this version of it glowed in the dark, I think it would have made it more exciting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should they have made it glow in the dark? I would have thought that'd been cool. Really would have. There's an interesting pose here. He's just like walking. And he's still got his hand. There you go. There we go. No hand. No hand there. His codpiece is sticking out a little. Looks like he's doing like the electric slide or something too, right? He's kind of like a mid dance move. And then he's like, right there. He's getting hit with all the lightning. He dropped his lightsaber too because he doesn't have a hand. He's like, it's almost like his no pose from Revenge of the Sith, right? He's like, no, but it's kind of the same pose, right? But now with lightning on it. This one, he's looking at his hand. Where did my hand go? I don't know, but there's my lightsaber. Look, no lightsaber here. Lightsaber there. Where does it come from? Everything you see here is what you get. Again, it's a repack. Same exact figure before. It's a glorious figure. I love it. And it is cool to see it on a single card. But that begs the question, where is Anakin Skywalker, you guys? Where is Anakin Skywalker? Why haven't they repacked Anakin Skywalker with the cloak and with normal eyes? Why Emperor's Wrath Vader before Anakin? I have no idea. I have no idea. Oh, Britt, you always crack me up. Tell your sister I did the electric slide. Oh my God. Brent says they have an extreme allergy to Revenge of the Sith labeling. They do. We've only gotten one figure with a Revenge of the Sith card since TVC 2.0 came back. How sad is that? That was the Clone Trooper, the 330, no, 41st, right? 41st, I think, with the gray markings. And that's a figure they need to redo because the previous one is crap. It's based on that Skinny Jeans clone. So we need to get that one redone. Galaxia Skywalker has it going. Says glow in the dark would have done it for me for sure. Nicholas says I don't like seeing specific figures, but I do like this Vader. That skull should be translucent blue. That would have been cool too. I would have been good with that, Adam. Nicholas says glow in the dark. Always glow in the dark if possible. Scott 9, how's it going? Says we need an Emperor badly, a new Emperor. We do. The last one is it's based on the Evolutions Emperor Palpatine from 2005, you guys. That's how old it is. I was disappointed when they released it in 2021. And it was just that figure with a new head, new cloak, and cape. I was like, you guys could have done better than that. Especially with the Emperor, right? The ultimate evil in the galaxy. And he's got a body from 2005. What's up with that? Maul should have come with a cloak. Yeah, that would have been cool. John says, not ordering him. Nope, nope, nope. Who are you not ordering, John? John says Sarah Lynn Reynolds sculpted the Maul figure. Yep, she's great. John did not order the case. He says Brandon is the new Jean. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Some changes going on at Hasbro. I've been hearing. Yeah. I'd like to talk about that, but I don't have the full info yet, so I'm gonna wait till I do. Ecto Cooler for Victoria and Britt. Yes, please. Yes, please. John's not ordering them all. Okay. All right, and then of course there is the like the biggest reveal. We're gonna go all the way back. We're gonna click it 100 times to go back to the very first. Here he is. Finally, here he is. The stranger. In parentheses, it says Chimere, which is kind of it's interesting to me. It's like why is he labeled that way? Shouldn't it be Chimere and then in parentheses the stranger? I have no idea. I recently learned, though, I guess that Chimere was the first, had the story continued for the Acolyte. He was supposed to be like the first Knight of Ren, or he was going to start the Knights of Ren or something. That way he wasn't like conflicting with like Palpatine being Darth Plagueis' apprentice or something like that. I haven't read into it too much, but I did hear that. The card looks pretty good. They went with what, teal? Looks pretty good. Not the best I've seen. Not the worst I've seen either. I mean, I do appreciate that he's coming with the alternate helmet, right? The alternate head, the helmet. It looks cool. This was a big want for me a year ago when the Acolyte came out. There's the back of the card. But I've kind of like lost. I don't want to say I've lost interest. I'm not as excited as I would have been a year ago. So here he is right here. I think he looks great. I think it's awesome to finally have the bad guy of the Acolyte. I always say this, but we always want the cool bad guy. We always want the cool bad guy. We always. Like they're like that. Like yeah, right. And it seems like a lot of the time we have to wait a long time to get the bad guy. But here he is. They finally did Chimere justice. I think that I saw some Black Series or collectors that have the Black Series figures saying that this one looks better. And you know, that is one of those things. We've seen this multiple times now. Sometimes it sucks that TVC has to wait to get some of these characters that show up in Black Series way earlier. But at the same time, it's in those circumstances, it's usually apparent that the TVC version is superior to the Black Series version. So it's one of those like blessing in disguise kind of things, I guess, because he does look really good. He does look really good. It's really nice that we're finally going to get this guy. The arm looks a little weird. I'm not going to be able to unsee the kinkle wrist. Kinkle wrist is definitely there. Does it look as bad as Han Solo? No, it doesn't. But it's there. It's definitely... Whoop, our image disappeared. The image cannot be loaded. Why not? Why could the image not be loaded? There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It looks a little weird. It looks a little bit weird right there. I'm talking about the kinkle wrists. They thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. Let's look at some pictures without the cloak, because the cloak is nice, but you know, if you know what cloaks are in TVC, you know what to expect. Here he is. Okay, there we go. He's getting down too. He's getting down. Look at those 70s disco pants. No, I'm just kidding. I think the likeness looks really great. Does it look perfect? I'm not going to say it looks perfect until I get it in hand, but it looks quite good. He looks a little skinny, which I know, I know he looked like that in the show, but I think it might just be an illusion of where the cuts are made in the sculpt. And then you have, the really baggy pants. Now, it is notable that there is not a swivel in the thighs. And Hasbro did say, I was watching their videos and Q&As and stuff, and they noted that it was a choice made to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. So I mean, I get that, but I do wonder if we're going to see that a little more often. Just, a little bit, do you absolutely need that point of articulation? Maybe not. Obviously in our legs, like we don't have like an extra cut in our legs to do that kind of movement, but I have found it helpful at times when posing figures. So I mean, I don't, I think it's probably generally a good thing to have that, but I don't know. It looks good. It looks good. Lightsaber. Oh, there he is without the saber. He's got it. This is the lightsaber. It just mirrors that lightsaber look like ginormous attached there to his hilt, to his belt. It looks maybe it's just me, but I mean it looks really big. Look. It looks really large. Like, okay. It's like as long as his forearm. If you look at his forearm, it's like that long. And there are the kinkle wrists again. I mean, I'm looking at my forearm. I guess a lightsaber would be about as long as my forearm. The things we talk about on Social Hour. Yeah. I think that the left arm looks better with the cortosis than the right arm, because the right arm, you see the kinkle wrist. We don't like it. What does Lando say? I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it. And then you can see the portrait a little bit more in this picture. And I got to say, it looks nice. It looks really nice. And then, of course, you get the two lightsabers. You get the unlit lightsaber with the peg to peg it into his belt. And then you get the ignited one that has like the little, I don't even know if you call that like a shoto blade. It's almost like a knife. No, it's like a Bowie knife. This is like the Bowie knife of lightsabers. The Bowie saber, let's call it. This is the Bowie saber. And I guess they connect. It's interesting because how's this going to work? Let me look at the packaging. I'm a little confused. Okay, in this picture, he's holding the... Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Oh, what a bummer. Okay, I think I just realized something. This is a little disappointing. If I'm reading it correctly, this is a little disappointing. So the figure, he cannot have a regularly bladed lightsaber unless you have the shoto connected to the bottom of the saber. Because if you connected both pieces, you would have the two blades. But if you don't want two blades, you're kind of screwed because you wouldn't have the full hilt. Okay, that's kind of lame. That is kind of lame. Yeah, I don't like that, you guys. I do not like this. Is it a minor thing? Maybe. But there were times in the series where he did not disconnect the hilt and he just had one blade. So seemingly you cannot do that with this figure. That's kind of a bummer. That is kind of a bummer. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I'm going to think about it because I think about everything, especially when it comes to TVC. What's up, Mario? Good to see you. How are you doing? Did you make it to the Disney California Adventure Halloween party? We should make a song about canklerists. We should make a song about the canklerists. Maybe it could be something like, let's see, like, and it seems to me you sculpted your arm like a cankle in the wind. Something like that. Gosh darn canklerists. Sci-Fi Dude says, everybody likes the bad boy. Scott Knight says, I'm down for the stranger. Who isn't? Adam says, the jury is out on his likeness. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think I need to see it in hand, though. That's a good point, Brent. He's not deluxe. Nor should he be. Nicholas says it'll be interesting to see if the no thigh swivel makes much difference, if the hip ball sockets are good enough. We shall see. Brent says, same with the Bad Batch crew. They missed the window by 1 or 2 years on characters, so we lose interest. Guys, I don't even care anymore about the Bad Batch. I mean, I don't mean that like, I don't mean that I dislike the Bad Batch, because I do like them. I think they're fun, but so I don't even care anymore. Like this, it's been so long. Like I don't know. I mean, is that the point? Like to make us just like to make you get to the point where it's like, I don't need it anymore. It's kind of like what I'm saying about the stranger. Like it's been a year. I'm excited for him. This is probably like this is one that really needed to be in TVC. But imagine like how much more excited people would have been had this arrived earlier. Even if it wasn't a year ago, right? Like earlier this year, even, I think people would have been more excited. Nicholas doesn't like the torso cut. Yeah, I know, Britt, you guys don't get, the Black Series doesn't get the thigh swivels anymore. But also, you guys don't have canklerists. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have canklerists, or would you rather have a thigh swivel? That's what it comes down to, I guess. Nicholas says, it doesn't bother me. Would mostly want to just play with 2 blades. Sci-Fi Dude says he should have come with a 3rd saber. Yeah, that's what I mean. He should have come with like he didn't even need a 3rd saber. He didn't. All he needed was the shoto, like the bottom part, the hilt, just an extra one of those pieces. That's all he would have needed. Right? He doesn't even need a whole other saber. He just needs the shoto part. Or, hear me out, you guys. Hear me out. Look at this picture here. Do you see the lightsaber hilt with the peg on it that pegs into his belt? What if the bottom part of that saber disconnected and could be connected to the lit up full lightsaber hilt? Then you would negate this issue I'm rambling about entirely. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe this is a non-issue. Maybe I'm obsessing over something that's not even a problem. But there's no indication of that from these photos that what I'd be hopeful for is going to be the case. So I'm going to be rambling. I'm going to be rambling. My cankles don't lie. Put it on the next album. Yes, Kinkle in the Wind. Let's put that on the next VC music album. Let's do that. Mario says, no Oogie Boogie Bash for me this year. Maybe next year. Fair enough. Sunshine, cankle wrists, and hips. Everything that is wonderful is what I feel when they're together. Kinkle rage. Yeah, we need to do that. Dodgen says, kinkle without a hips. Yeah, that too. That too. And then we can start making movies. We can make a movie called 16 Kinkles. Yeah. Oh yeah, that could be the song. 16 Kinkles. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Something like that. I told you guys you're going to get loopy tonight. And that's exactly what you're getting. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about the case makeup here. So according to this case assortment, and this is subject to change, this has changed in the past. 2 Chimere, I think that's awesome. 2 Padme Amidala, awesome. 2 Shakti, awesome. 1 Maul, 1 Darth Vader, Emperor's Wrath. This is cool because the brand new sculpts or whatever, the new figures are 2 per case. That's good. That's good. I think this is a perfect case assortment, honestly. Yeah, makes total sense. I'm totally good with the case assortment. So yeah, I did pre-order the case, and the case is slated for March 2026. All right, let's go ahead and look at the other the other stuff. The other stuff, meaning the Black Series. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean the other stuff. All right, so here are the figures for Black Series. You can still pre-order these guys. Okay, so we've got Quinlan Voss, Kyle Katarn, or is that John Miko? Hard to say. We have young Dooku, Jedi Master Dooku, and then we have the 7th sister from Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, I think this is cool. Yeah, check this out. All the figures in this wave have lightsabers. Isn't that interesting? But they're all Force users. How often does that happen? How often does that happen? Like, I don't. It might be the first time it's ever happened. We'll just go in order. Here's a 7th sister. This is neat. This is a neat one. I think I'm going to pick this one up because I do have the other Inquisitors from the Obi-Wan series, and I think I will pick up the 7th sister. I mean, Inquisitors are kind of silly. Not gonna lie, they are kind of silly, but they're kind of cool too. They're silly, but they're cool. And she comes with a lot. She's got the helmet, the bottom part of the helmet, also lightsaber, 4 blades, and then a little droid dude that plugs into her back. 4 blades? Gosh darn. How does Black Series get 4 blades with 1 figure? Well, I mean, I know she's got a double-bladed lightsaber. I know that. Don't. We won't state the obvious, but still 4 blades. Jesus. Yeah, this is true, Britt. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yep. She looks cool. Look at that. That's a cool pose. That is a cool, like, mid-fight, like, pose. I like that. There she is going up against Kanan Jarrus. There she is in the box with a lot of red because of those 4 lightsaber blades. Okay, Kyle Katarn, first time in Black Series. That is a nice pose. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this, Shadows of the Empire, but I know a lot of folks are. So I think it looks cool. He's got a blaster. That kind of looks like Rey's blaster, doesn't it? He's got lightsaber, hilt, and then 2 blades. That's a decent looking figure. A little clean, but looks nice. This is labeled as gaming greats. Oh, Star Wars Dark Forces. Sorry. I had the source material wrong on this one. Quinlan Voss. Okay, this one's cool. This might be the coolest one actually. Because Quinlan was obviously you see him in the Phantom Menace, which I think was kind of like a retcon. I don't think he was supposed to be Quinlan Voss. But later people liked the design and they used the design to do comics, and then they're like, okay, Quinlan Voss, he was in the Phantom Menace. And then he was also supposed to be in Revenge of the Sith. And then he wasn't. But supposedly he was like killed on Kashyyyk, but then he wasn't really killed. Another retcon. He wasn't really killed because then he appears, he's mentioned in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We have this figure in 3 3/4. Looks like 10% of what this one looks like. Look how badass this one looks. It looks awesome. It looks really, really, really good. Such a cool figure. I think I'm gonna have to get him too. I think I am going to have to get Quinlan Voss, you guys. Very nice pose right there. There he is with Obi-Wan. There he is with Dooku. Or no, wait, what am I saying? That made no sense. Cantina scary hour for you. There you go. What? All right, Count Dooku, Jedi Master Dooku from the Tales of the Jedi, was it? This is the cool one. This is another cool one. Really nice head sculpt. It looks a little bit like, I was gonna say Al Pacino maybe, like the unshaved. It looks like Al Pacino, but kind of also looks like Andy Garcia, which I know they kind of look a little similar. Like that 80s era version of them. And then the bearded version looks cool. So 2 heads with 1 figure. It's funny how they pose the head between the blades. Is that like foreshadowing of what's going to happen to Dooku in Revenge of the Sith? The cape looks nice. That's a really interesting looking cape. There's the figure. He's got the lightsaber, which the saber is a little less curved than when he becomes a Sith Lord. Look at that pose. That's a really killer pose right there. The cape and everything. There he is with Mace Windu. He's taller than Mace Windu, right? Or is it just the pose? He looks taller. Very nice box. Very nice presentation there for Quinlan. It looks great. So yeah, this is the case. $167.99, April 2026. Up for pre-order now. Yeah, I mean, looks like a cool wave. Looks like a cool wave. Was that the ghost? What ghost? What ghost did you see, Peak Obi-Wan? Could be my dog. She's outside the room right now. $15 blue milks. Jeez. Bring Kyle to TVC. Britt says going up against Freddie Prinze Jr. I know, that's kind of funny, huh? Ventress's lover. Dom, good to see you. Allison says, being all Halloween minded, he looks like he'd fit in with Imhotep and the Guardians in The Mummy. That's actually a good point. Scott9 says, definitely bring my 2 favorite Jedi to TVC. Please, I'll buy 2 or 3 just because. Sci-Fi Dude asking, do you want lightsabers to look like they're in motion? I do. I like these figures here. Yeah, so I mean, Hot Toys has been including those for a while. Even some of the imports, like Mayfax or SH Figure Arts, they've included the swoosh effect lightsabers. And then Black Series started doing them as well. The question is, and Yakface posted this the other day, is like, why doesn't TVC get swooshy blades? Would you guys like them in TVC? I mean, I kind of feel like I would. Like to see swooshy blades in TVC. I think they would be fun. And if you think about it, really all they need to do, the thing is TVC, they include the hilts, and then they include the lightsaber hilts, like the blades ignite, which I think is the best way to do it, of course. But then if they did a swooshy effect, would they have to do a third, like full lightsaber? Or would they have to engineer the other saber to disconnect it? Because if you guys remember, when they used to have the disconnecting lightsaber hilts, the little clear pegs, those were always a nightmare. I always felt like I was going to break those pegs. And sometimes I did break them and had to super glue them. So how would you do it in TVC? At a smaller scale, I don't know if it would work. The only way I think it would work is if you did the whole lightsaber with the hilt and everything. And I don't see them including like 3 versions of a lightsaber inside a TVC figure. I wish they would do that. I just don't see it happening. But I think that would be ideal. I think that would be ideal. First green swoosh blade. Yeah, I think you're right. Some younger Christopher Lee. Yeah, they did a really good job in the animation making him look like young Christopher Lee, definitely. Adam says Christopher Lee was 6'5". Yeah, so he should be taller, right, than Mace. Runner Base says, crazy cool getting Ayla Secura's apprentice and her grandmaster in the same wave. Interesting. John says no to the swooshy blades. Is that what we're going to call them? Swooshy blades? I haven't fully decided. Nicholas says, I'd like them for photos, but not if they make the price go up even more. Yeah. And yeah, they would have to be another saber, I think. Britt says, swooshy blades had a weird journey in TBS. They first did it for Dooku, then didn't do it again for years, and now they're coming back full force. It's weird. Brett says, I had a dozen of those peg lightsabers, and only one has survived to this day. Sci-Fi Dude says they should include them. So here's the thing. I really, on the Black Series, like, yeah, that Dooku is a great figure. I like the swooshy blades. The thing is, depending on how you display your figures and how close they are, like, the swooshy blades kind of take up a lot of space and they kind of block the view of your figure. Right? I'm thinking at a smaller scale too. Like that might be a little more accentuated. I think it would be cool. if you I mean, I was gonna say, if you think about it, they really only need to do like a pack of 5 sushi blades, right? Green, red, blue, purple, white, yellow, maybe a couple of red for the double bladed people. But the thing is, they would need to peg into like a lightsaber, and that wouldn't work. So yeah, I don't see them coming to TVC ever. Honestly, after thinking about it. John says, I check our alternate hands or more accessories. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think I would agree. I think I would agree with that. All right. Well, that is the MCM London reveals. So, everything for like we were talking about last week, pre-orders are for TVC at least. Like we have everything other than the HasLab, the gunship. Like we basically have everything at this point. So now with this wave scheduled for March 2026, there is another pre-order now that is on pre-order. A pre-order on pre-order. And it may even be earlier than March 2026. Who knows? Who knows? You never know. Sometimes things come early. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears. Let's go ahead and switch gears. Go and pull up Sideshow's website. And we'll take a look at the latest hot toy. Latest Star Wars hot toy, that is. All right. Hot toys. Come on. I'm just gonna search Hot Toys Star Wars, and I'm gonna filter it to bestsellers. I'm curious. I haven't looked at this. Let's go show filters, bestsellers. Anakin is still currently the bestseller, followed by Obi-Wan, and then the new Han Solo, which is the one we're talking about. All right. So, my friends, like I was saying at the top of the show, finally, we've been waiting eons for Bespin Han Solo to be released. Here he is. And wow. This is a really exciting, as exciting as it is when they do things like General Grievous or, I don't know, Super Battle Droid, for example, just like random things. Like when they do core characters, especially core characters that have never been really done before by this company, they make for really, really exciting announcements. So Han Solo Bespin, as you can see here, in the Millennium Falcon with the smolder going on. How good does that look? How good does that look? I do like that he has the brown jacket because it is brown. I know it looks kind of bluish in some moments on Hoth, but it is brown. I've seen it in person. It is brown. It's really cool. This version is like, it's like it's not zipped up. It's more, it looks like a really like plushy parka. Over the Bespin Han, the classic Bespin Han, or what we refer to as Bespin Han's outfit. Let's take a look. Let's get up close and personal with Han. Yeah. This is pretty freaking gorgeous, you guys. This is pretty freaking gorgeous. I will say that the face, I mean, just the structure of his face, like the lightness, like it's totally there. It's totally there. They don't always nail it with some of these main characters, right? But like this looks excellent. I will be a little nitpicky here, and I will say that the hair maybe looks a little more New Hope-ish to me than Empire Strikes Back. Maybe that's just me. Again, it's a nitpick, but I feel like the hair maybe looks doesn't look 100% like Empire. A minor gripe in light of what looks like it's going to be a tremendously good figure. Check it out. Dang, he's good. He is good. And I thought the Endor Han was really nice, and it is for a little bit of an older Harrison Ford. But this looks so much better. I mean, at least here it looks better. Maybe not so much better. It looks better. I mean, look at that. Look at that expression. Gorgeous. How about this one here? Look at that. He looks great. He looks great. He looks great. And again, it's one of those things. We've been waiting a really long time for this one to be announced. But was he worth the wait? I mean, probably. He probably looks better now than he would have looked like 5 years ago. I'm sure he does. He probably looks better now than he would have looked 2 years ago. Maybe even 1 year ago. I'm very pleased with the way this looks. I'm very pleased with the way that this Han Solo looks. He's got the gun. Gloves on and gun. Look at this one right here. Look at that. Look at that pose. That is nice. That is really nice. This too. I mean, these poses, like this photography is really nice. Imagine if he came with that backdrop, like even if that was the whole backdrop, right? Just like a partial piece of the Falcon, like that would be really cool. Maybe even if it was cardboard, like even that would be pretty cool. They got really good pose work on these images here. There he is with the parka unzipped. He's got the goggles around his neck. Look at that pose. I don't know who posed this figure, but I need to hire them to come pose my figures for me. Man, that looks good. That looks like if this looks like a still from like a promotional publicity image, doesn't it? I mean, the physique, the expression, the likeness, the pose, like this looks like a promotional image for The Empire Strikes Back. Awesome. You could even make that your phone wallpaper. You could even make it your phone wallpaper. It's got the blaster. He's getting ready to shoot first. Man, there's a bunch of pictures here that look really nice. Super cool. What all do you get here? Oh, 2 styles of costume display, it says. I would display him with probably without the parka. It would just be like the Bespin classic Bespin Han, I think. He looks great both ways, honestly. But I think for me, I'd have to go with classic. Right? I'd have to go with classic. Separate rolling eyeballs. And this is everything you get. Separate rolling eyeballs. You get the goggles. You get the little torch thingy. You get the oxygen mask. I didn't even realize that was in there. You do get that for when he's on in the space slug. You get the blaster. You get the holster. Gloves. Multiple hands. Some are gloves. Some are not. Got a picture of the boots right there. Someone said these are split cut boots, which I think is pretty cool. You get the display base, which looks like it's from Hoth. Got snow on it. Echo base. Do we have a picture of the boots up close? Here, let's try this. Let's try this. I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard to see, but if it does have the split cut boots, that's pretty cool. I mean, they might be. It's hard to tell from these images unless it says in the description. Let's take a look at the description. Details, what's in the box. One pair black colored long boots. That's all it says about the boots. So I don't know. I do not know. Price on this one is $285. A little pricey, but not outrageously so for a hot toy, especially a hot toy that has as many accessories as this one comes with. And it currently is estimated for October 2026 through March 2027. Long time away. But this is a really nice figure. This is a really, really nice figure. Excuse me. Let's see what you guys think. Dodgen says, Hot Toys delivered the one thing I've been asking Hasbro for centuries at this point. Adam says, OMG, this Han is just incredible. Allison says, Han is outstanding. And that I've been pushing myself not to buy anything new, but this is going to be an exception. Obi-Wan says the snow coat is a nice touch. Nicholas says, I'm not sure about his face straight on. He looks good to me. He looks really good to me. But it's one of those things, we're going to get the blogger photos at some point close to release. And then we'll get the actual, if you order it, you get the actual figure in hand, which sometimes is a totally different experience than what you see in photos and videos. In my experience, most of the time what you see in person looks better than what you see in the photos. So if it looks this good now, and I know this is the prototype, if it looks this good now, I would think the final product would look just as good, if not even maybe a little better. Sci-fi dude, good-looking scoundrel. John Miko says it's got vibes of him when he's working on the Falcon on Hoth. I agree, that's true. Bespin Han, Allison says, is my absolute favoriteest version. Adam says, I like the open parka because we already have a Hawthorne from ESB. And also, remember, not only do his eyeballs move, they move separately. Yes, they do. That would be a good way to display him, Adam, with Leia, for sure. For sure. I think I told you guys this. I used to have that Leia soldier. Then years later, I found that I actually still had her, but it wasn't the exact same figure. I guess at some point there was an issue, and Sideshow sent me a body. So I have the full body, I think even with the base, but I don't have a head. If I had that head, though, I would be able to. So I'm talking about like the Bespin Leia with the gown. Like, I don't have the Hoth one. I had it for a brief moment, but I did not keep it for very long. Would be cool to get an updated version of the Hoth one that's a little more proportionate. Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. Then I'll see you in McDonald's. Yeah. I think this is great. I think this is great. I'm pumped. I can't wait. If Hot Toys gave us more things like this, core characters with lots of accessories, like definitive versions that have everything you need, I would be very happy. All right. What's next? What is next? Let's check on the HasLab. What's going on with Tron? What's going on with Tron? I don't know. Let's go take a look. Because we are watching this with great interest, aren't we? Okay, let me go and pull it up. Okay. I don't see much difference from last week. Last week when we looked at it a week ago, it had just gone over like 1,000, right? When were we live? We were live last Wednesday, last week. And it had gone just over 1,000. Currently, it's at 1,095 backers out of a needed 10,000 with 25 days remaining. This is not going to fund. There's absolutely no way. I mean, I like to keep it positive vibes, but I do not see any way that this thing's going to fund. I mean, I'm very conflicted about this, you guys, because I told you I was backing it. And then Hasbro has, what they're touting, the 375 like initiative that they want to do. If this fails, what effect is that going to have on this 375 initiative? Do they give up on it? Do they try something else? I really don't know. I really do not know. But I don't think this is going to fund. And I also don't know what effect that will have on this 375 thing. And I mean, I do want other 375 things. I mean, just me, like, I've said it before. I really would love like a quality, like TVC quality, like Pirates of the Caribbean, even if it's just a small lineup with the core characters. I'd be very happy with that and some of the villains. And then if you can imagine like a HasLab quality Black Pearl, I mean, shoot, that would be one of the coolest things in my collection. I would love that. I would back a HasLab Black Pearl. I would 100% back a Black Pearl HasLab. If it was to the caliber, the quality of the sail barge, especially, imagine that. It'd probably be similar size to the sail barge now that I think about it. So would I really want that? Like, maybe not. I would buy it. I would want it, but yeah, that would be pretty large. Even if it was a 3/4 of the size of the barge, I think that would be doable. I think that would be manageable. It would be taller, of course, because of the sails, right? You would need a lot of space for a HasLab Black Pearl, but it would be pretty damn awesome. Now my mind is absorbed with this idea. But imagine that Black Pearl HasLab plus Jack Sparrow, villains, right? I think that'd be pretty cool. You get Elizabeth Swann in there. You get Will Turner. Maybe you get Barbosa. Davy Jones would be awesome. Like focus on the original like 3 movies, especially the first movie, which I know Davy Jones isn't in the first movie, but I would still like to get him as a figure. Yeah, that'd be really rad. That would be really rad. I would back that. I would definitely prefer that to Tron for sure. You got to have the monkey. Sci-fi dude says, yes, you do. Of course you do. Jack the monkey. Latoya T, what is up? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. John says, I love pirates. Nicholas says, they can't expect to launch a new 3 3/4 inch line with the HasLab, especially when TVC collectors are already underserved. I mean, it's an interesting thing, right? But I know we talked about it at length. Like, I get why it's a HasLab. I mean, look at the numbers here. Had they put out a main line of Tron figures, and this is the interest that people had in it, they would lose a ton of money on it. So, I mean, I get why it has to be a HasLab. It's not ideal, but I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the only way that it would work. John says, I'm not happy that this was the start of some 375 initiative, right? McDonald's sounds good right now. It does. Let's see here. If they make a Black Pearl, what figure would you want with it? I mean, we got to have Jack, right? I mean, I think that's obvious. He's the captain of the ship. You'd have to have Jack with the Black Pearl, right? Like, I mean, I feel like that would be the one. But I think you need to have like the main, 3 main characters, right? And then you got to have like, you got to at least have Barbosa, right? I feel like, and then after that, I think, as much as I'd like Davy Jones, I think he'd kind of be like a stretch goal type thing. Yeah. And maybe some of the crew would be cool too, right? Like what were their names? Like Rigetti and other his other guy, the other guy. And then yeah, the first mate, like characters like that, like I think would make Mr. Gibbs, right? Like some of those would make a lot of sense. Imagine if they did I don't know if it'd be a stretch goal or if it would be a subsequent wave or mainline type thing, but imagine if they did like a Jack that turns into the skeleton, like it was Skeleton Jack, like from the end of the movie. That'd be pretty cool too. Wiener Schnitzel. Haven't been a Wiener Schnitzel in years. PW1 says, HasLabbing anything is not going to work. Sorry, not sure what they are thinking. MCR says, are you not collecting dinosaurs anymore? I do. I do collect dinosaurs. I still collect Jurassic. I don't collect everything from the main line from Mattel, but I do collect a good amount. And I do have other like odds and ends that I bought in recent months and recent years, like Nanmu stuff. And I do collect them. I don't post too much about them, but I do still buy stuff. Passion versus demand. Yep. Definitely something to think about. Especially with such a niche property like Tron, like, you got to think about like, and again, that's why it's a HasLab, because you have to determine if there's enough excitement for this to make it like viable in a main line. You best start believing in ghost stories. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, so we talked about this too, Nicholas. Hasbro should have made the Tron HasLab a Pulse exclusive, made to order to show they are committed to new 375. So the thing is, again, if you're going to do a made to order, you have to have the resources ponied up to fund it, right? You have to already have the tooling and all that allocated and made. If you do that, let's say Hasbro spends, I'm just spitballing numbers here. Let's say Hasbro spends $100,000 on tooling and R&D and all the costs associated with producing a made to order Tron Wave. $100,000, but then in actual pre-orders, they only receive $50,000 worth of pre-orders. I mean, that's not, to a Pirates quote right here. That's not good enough, right? It has to be profitable, right? Otherwise, them losing money is just, it's the worst thing possible for any toy line, right? And sometimes we think about, well, what implications would that have had for Star Wars or anything else? So it had to be a HasLab. There's no other way that it could have been done, I don't think. But again, Tron is really niche. It's really hard. It's really hard to gauge interest for Tron. Cool. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and put a bow on that right here. Whoops, where did I go? There I am. I think I hit the wrong button. All right, let's see here. Shall we go into ghost talk? We're an hour and a half in. I mean, yeah, let's spend a half hour on ghost talk, you guys. Ghost talk. Ooh. As I said that, the lights just flickered. Oh, it's because the AC turned on. Yeah. All right. Well, so I posted some things on Instagram over the past day, and I'm going to start off by reading what you guys told me, and then I'll talk about some of my ghost stuff, because there has been some recent stuff. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Let me jump over to Instagram, and I will take a look and see what you guys told me in some of the recent posts that we've been putting up, the Q&A stuff like we did last week, but this time it was more Halloween related. All right, so let's start off with, here, I'm going to do quick things so we can pull them all up in one place. Here on Instagram, just going to throw everything in the same place here. All right, so the first question was, what is your favorite childhood Halloween memory? All right, so I'll read yours and then I'll share mine. AFC Smoke says, dressing up as Captain Rex 2 years in a row after the Clone Wars movie came out. That is cool. That's a good memory. Dave's Domain says, dressing up in 2008 as Clone Wars Anakin and winning first place at a school costume contest. That is really cool. Imperial Communique says, having a black Stormtrooper-like helmet and making armor out of paper bags. I love it. SD Medic says, trick or treating with my sisters and cousins in an upscale community because the candy bars are extra large. Nice. Um, our moderator, Adam, says the childhood mix of freedom and fear as I ventured out to trick or treat on evening streets in fall. Super cool. Our friend Britt says trick or treating with my bestie and then watching movies. Still do as adults, the movies part. And then Dodgson here says, a neighborhood I went to for trick or treating had a nice scare maze and deposited one candy. That is cool. That is cool. So for me, you guys, and you can share them in the chat too if you didn't answer the stories. For me, I don't know if some of you can relate. It seems like here from these Q&As, some of you guys were kids during the Clone Wars era, so I predate you by a little bit. For those who remember, I feel like Halloween, like in the early 90s, was like the absolute best time for Halloween. I don't know why. I know some of it is nostalgia, but I just feel like Halloween back then, maybe part of it was because I was a kid, but Halloween back then was just a lot more impactful for me. I think back to the decorations, what Halloween decorations look like in the late 80s, early 90s. I think they were a little more realistic. They were a little less cartoony. They were a little more scary. And anytime you see, like, I was in Salem, Massachusetts last month. No, well, was it? No, yeah, late last month. And I saw there was a place we went to, and they had like 90s Halloween decorations, and I was telling my husband, look, that's a 90s Halloween decoration right there. It was just very obvious, like it's a very specific look. This year, Target actually, their lineup of Halloween decorations looked very 90s inspired. Not as cool or as good as the 90s, but very, very close. Something about just Halloween in the 90s was, it just hit different. I think part of it was the mystery, right? We didn't have the internet. Part of it was we had books. I don't know if anyone remembers. There was a book called Scary, Scary Halloween. These are kids' books. And I don't know if anyone remembers the Bunnicula series, where Bunnicula was the rabbit. And then there were also, like, there was a dog, Harold the dog, and then Howie, the wiener dog, the dachshund. And they all lived in the same house. And then there was a version of that called Scared Silly. Some of you may remember these books, some of you might not, but like those are my favorite. Like that era, like, is just my favorite, like, Halloween, like, era ever. Let me show you what this book looks like. I actually have it at work. I meant to read it today. I just didn't get a chance. Scary, Scary Halloween was I was obsessed with this book in the early 90s. This is what it looks like. It's the cover. And there's a twist at the end of the book. Basically, though, this book tells the tale of all these different creatures and ghosts and goblins and stuff that are out on Halloween night. And then there's a big twist. I mean, is it a big twist? Kind of, I guess. There's a twist at the end of the story that ties into the cover of the book. And it was just, like, just the imagery of this kind of thing, like that late 80s, early 90s, like Halloween aesthetic. Like, again, it just hits different. There's just something more like something about it that just, like, back then, again, no internet, you have books, you have movies, like a VHS. Cable wasn't like cable now. And then you had, like, your local community, right? You had your friends, your classmates, your neighbors, your trick-or-treating. Like, we were more like we were a lot more isolated back then, right? We were all in our, like, little communities. And I think, there's some things about that were kind of nice. There's some things about that I kind of miss, actually, but Yeah, this was one of my favorite books. It was just a really, really great, really great one. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that wants to check it out. Let me go ahead and pull up Scared Silly so you can see what that one looks like. And as soon as you see the cover, I do have this one as well. I have it at work. I bought it on eBay a while back. It's like an original print. But this is another favorite. Okay. Banicula's pals Harold and Chester in Scared Silly. So yeah, this was another favorite book during that era. So Banicula was a series of books. Banicula was a vampire rabbit, and then Harold was the big was the larger dog. Chester was the cat, and then Howie was the dachshund. And this book's about Halloween night, and it's about how these animals are interpreting what they're seeing and what they're hearing about Halloween. And as a kid reading it, it's just such a fun story because at that age, I think you kind of relate more to the animals than you do to the family in the book. Even now, I probably would relate more to the animals, honestly. But it's a fun read. It's a fun read. I don't think you're ever too old for these books. Honest, for this book especially, like this is just a really fun read. I have a lot of nostalgia for this book and for this series in general. Banicula was a pretty cool series of books. But I mean, see what I mean? Like, look at the pic. Like, a cover of a book would not look like that today, right? There's no way a Halloween book would look like that today, right? It would look a little bit less. It would look dialed down. It would look toned down, right? It would look a little more CG, maybe. Like, this is art. This is art. Britt says she remembers the bunny books. Thank you, MCR. I appreciate you watching some of the older reviews. Are you gonna celebrate that incredibly exciting Black Series release from today? Yeah, I forgot to mention it, but yeah, maybe I can throw it in a little bit, Adam. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. Yeah, we should share spooky stories in the chat in just a bit. Right now, I want to hear your memories. Allison says, my favorite memory is dressing up and trick-or-treating out of my grandparents' sub. We'd be out for 3 hours hitting everywhere. That's awesome. Pico B1 says, I'm an 80s kid, so dressing up like Cobra Kai skeletons and riding my BMX at night was amazing. I love that. Sci-Fi Dude says, watching The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I watch it with my son. Dodson. Nicholas says, I don't think Halloween is anywhere near as big a deal outside the U.S. It wasn't considered a proper holiday when I grew up in the U.K. I don't even remember going trick-or-treating. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a U.S. Holiday, for sure. I mean, I know it's celebrated. I know that Halloween itself has its origins, like, going back, like, probably centuries and millennia, but in Europe. But, even Mexico, you have Dia de los Muertos, November 1st. But it is a really big thing in the U.S. for sure. Yeah. Thank you, Allison, for that. The origins date back to the Celts in Samhain. Yep. Yeah. Again, so just like Halloween back then just hit differently. Like, I think part of it was the excitement of being a kid. Part of it was the excitement of being scared and thinking of, like, what if some of this is real, right? What if really there are witches? Like, what if really there are, goblins? Like, what if there's werewolves out there, in the woods behind my house? There's all that mystery surrounding it. And then, of course, the fun of actually going out in costume as your favorite thing in collecting candy. What's not to love? Like Halloween is 100% my favorite holiday. And I've been celebrating it a lot. I'll talk about what I've been doing in just a little bit. I've been celebrating it hardcore this year, which I'm happy about. All right. So the next question that we posed was, let's take a look here. The next thing that we posed was, what is your favorite Halloween movie? What is your favorite Halloween movie? You guys can let me know in the chat. Our friend Mark, who we had on the show about a month ago or so, says, I watch horror year round. However, I do have a top 31 for the 31 days of October. That is cool. Dave's Domain says, Bride of Chucky, not super Halloween themed, but spooky enough for group watch. Imperial Communique says, Phantasm. Rick, our friend Rick, says, The Halloween Tree. Ooh. SD Medic says, The Lost Boys. Customs, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Return of the Jedi says Halloween 1978. Alex says Hocus Pocus / Scary Godmother. Adam says Halloween. Michael Myers single-handedly made my house at night feel creepy for years. Brittany says Halloween, the original. Dodgson says triple tiebreaker between Creature in the Black Lagoon, Bucket of Blood, and Killer Clowns. Star Wars Gut Check says it's a tie between The Cabin in the Woods and What We Do in the Shadows. Jar369 says Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Galaxy Skywalker says The Burbs. Good choice. And Nilda Appetite for Collectibles says The Exorcist. Good picks. What do you guys think? You let me know here in the chat. Me personally, you guys, I know it's not a scary movie. I know it's Hocus Pocus. Like, again, it's just 1993 for me. Like, that was like as a kid, I mean, anyway, like 1993 was like one of the greatest years ever. We had Jurassic Park. We had the Kenner Jurassic Park toy line. We had Batman the Animated Series going. We had that was the year that Free Willy came out, right? It's another movie that, obsessed with as a kid. We had Hocus Pocus, right? I mean, it was just such a great year to be like in your formative years. And yes, I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for that first film. And when I was in Salem last year, I made it a point, or last month, sorry, I made it a point to go to a lot of the filming locations for the film. And that was a blast. I had a lot of fun doing that. So that would be my pick. A few here in the chat that I see. Dodson says he's going to check pump number 2. Is that going on with pump number 2? We hope not. Pico wants a Sleepy Hollow, The Shining, Clue, The Ring, 1408, the original Fight Night, and The Lost Boys. Nice. Allison says, trick-or-treating used to be going around asking for soul cakes for the dearly departed. And naturally, we're in the part of the show where talking about ghosts and Halloween and stuff. Less people interested in the Halloween stuff than the toys and collectibles, and I get it. Next question was, what is your scariest toy or collectible? Dave's Domain says the life-size Trick-or-Treat Studios Chucky and the NECA Tiffany doll replicas. Those would be scary indeed. Rick says 1980 Mattel Clash of the Titans Calibos. That film has some really creepy creatures. SD Medic says Mesco Toys, Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Adam says, a different Adam says, probably the Kikimora from The Witcher, though the spiders love it. Return of the Jedi says Power of the Force 2. That, yeah. Props for a pick there. Our moderator, Adam, says 1975 movie Monsters book. As a kid, I was too scared to look up at Universal Monsters photos. Brittany says, I guess it was Xenomorph before I got rid of this NECA stuff. Now it's no photoreal Poe. Ooh, that is a scary one indeed. Dodson says, my reaction card back from the creature from the Black Lagoon. Star Wars Gut Check says, Power of the Force Leia. So two people said that same Leia is the scariest collectible in their collections. It's a pretty poor figure. It's a pretty pitiful figure. Back then, though, it was hard to get. It was a hard to find figure, really hard to find. I think it was packed one per case. And we wanted it. We bought it and we liked it. No matter how horrible it was, we liked it. And then Jars369 says, anything Pennywise related. For me, this is one I struggled with. I was thinking about it for a bit, and I was trying to think, what is my scariest collectible? Scariest toy? I don't know. Honestly, it's really hard to say. I do have a Tales from the Crypt Creeper thing, like a little statue / figurine, and that's pretty scary. I might have to go with that. It has like a candle. The candle lights up. I wish I had it with me, but it's in storage somewhere. The last question was share a ghost story. Share a ghost story. I want to hear you guys' ghost stories in the chat because I'm going to talk about some of mine. What? We're only at 19 people now? We lost more than half of our folks talking about Halloween. It's okay. SD Medic says, La Llorona. Yes. You had an experience with La Llorona? I want to know. I want to hear more about this. I really want to hear more about this. I'm intrigued. Return of the Jedi says, I can't type it all, but we have a crazy family. One of my uncle who supposedly haunts. I want to hear more about that. Let's get Joe back on social hour. It's been a while. Adam, our moderator, says, not quite a ghost story, but my mom paid me a single wordless visit in a dream after she died. Wow. That's really cool. Britt says, haven't experienced anything myself, but I'll defer to Wanda Sykes' ghost encounter. That is a good one. Star Wars Gut Check says, Power of the Force Leia, not haunted, just sculpted by somebody who was apparently. Man, we keep beating up on that Power of the Force Leia. Dodson says, I have multiple, but to do that, I need to share in the chat. Yes, please do, Dodson. Please do. Nicholas says, his Boglin, he has a Boglin that's probably the scariest. I have a Boglin over there. Boglins are pretty scary. I have one of the newer ones that they came out with a few years back. Let's see here. Adam says, my Halloween decorations are creepier than my collectibles. The ghosts have taken everyone. I think so, Brent. I think so, because we're down. We've lost like 2/3. Yeah, 2/3 of our audience since we start talking Halloween. But it's okay. Those of you that are still here, you're the real ones, and we appreciate it. Pico says, I have this thing called the Freak from the Spawn 90s collection. He is kind of scary. Allison says, scariest collectible. In the right lighting, it is a tie between the NECA black and white Frankenstein and the color Dracula. Don't have the black and white yet. Yeah, I really like when Jaded Toys was doing the 6-inch Universal Monsters, and I still have them like up here, like on the. You guys can't see them, but they're up on the shelf. I still love those. Those are fantastic. I wish the line would have kept growing before they canceled it because there's other figures we could have gotten from them. But I prefer them to the NECA because they're 6-inch instead of 7-inch, and also they're just more. They're a little more toy-ish, but they're more posable, and they're a lot of fun. Dodson says, chaos erupted on my toy shelf. My Jurassic Park 3 electronic Spinosaurus fell off the shelf. Ooh, am I sending things that way? PW1 says, I'm a Tim Burton crazy man. I hear you there. Definitely hear you there. Gorilla Leia. That's a funny name. Yeah, they used to call her Monkey Face Leia, right? I like Gorilla Leia. That sounds funny. All the figures that fell off the shelf. That's pretty scary. Or as we call it here in the cantina, shelficide, right? Figure throws itself off the shelf. It's shelficide. PW1 says, I lived in the attic of a house from the 50s and had crazy things happen like table flipping and light bulbs breaking at will. Ooh, that's poltergeist activity right there. I like it. Our house was built in 1951. This house here. And yeah, I've told you guys this before. This house is definitely, and you know, if it was just like one thing or two things that happened over the course of all the years I've been here, I'd be like, okay, maybe I could just write that off. But this has not been the case in this house. Like this is we've had many things happen over the years. My husband has had things happen, so we both had things happen. We've experienced them together. We experienced them separately. So for me, that's sufficient to confirm that this house is being occupied by unseeable tenants, invisible tenants. I should start charging them rent though, especially when they start messing with my internet. Allison says, for the ghost story, I'm convinced that when I was in Gettysburg that we had an encounter on East Cemetery Hill and another while taking pictures near Devil's Den. That is cool. That is cool. When I was in New England last month, and early this month, we went to a lot of cemeteries. We went to the oldest maintained cemetery in the U.S. It was in Boston. And then we went to a couple in Salem, and then Plymouth, and then in Mystic, Connecticut, we got to visit a couple as well. And we did an after hours ghost tour of the one in Connecticut. Black, just a couple flashlights, a few ghost tools, and we were the only ones on the tour, which made it extra cool. And it was very creepy. It was very creepy because I was hearing noises in the graveyard. I'm like, what is that? Nobody else is here. Why am I hearing rustling? Why am I hearing little sounds like stones ticking? I don't know what it was. It was weird. Universal monsters that were just revealed are yeah, that's true, Adam. Those are really nice. Dodgen says, we're here. Here's another spooky story. On a calm weekend night, I am taking some time off from college and enjoying the night, doom scrolling the internet, when suddenly a loud bang and crash came from the toy shelf. I looked behind and my face dropped as a quarter of my JP Kenner figures committed shelf aside off my shelf. Thankfully, none were hurt or scuffed, but a scary moment. That would be scary for me too. PW1 says, I'm also able to connect with spirits in my dreams. I don't like to talk about it, especially if they are strangers to me. I like it. I'd love to talk to you more about that, Chad, for sure. Sci-Fi Dude says, I was haunted by a ghost in a restaurant in Chicago in August. Haunted by a ghost in a restaurant. Must have been a hungry ghost. But that's very intriguing. Allison says, Salem is really cool. Was there back in 2002. Want to go back someday. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. A little commercialized, gotta say. And I feel like the tragedy of the Salem witch trials was a little bit cast aside in favor of the fun witch thing of today. But it was a really cool place. There were definitely vibes. And, you know, thankfully you can go to Proctor's Ledge where the actual hangings took place. So I did make sure to go there and pay my respects. The term shelficide also works if it was a homicide. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. Okay, I'll share a couple. I know I've talked to you guys about these. I know I showed you guys a picture last year. I'm gonna hold off on the picture because anytime I've shown this picture to people that are sensitive, they say that I can't relate because this has not been the case for me. They say when I show them this picture that they feel the picture, that they sense the energy of the picture before they even see it sometimes. It's a weird picture. I've shared it before. I shared it last year. I'm not gonna pull it up this year, at least not right now. Let me start with my most recent. So again, going back to our recent trip, Connecticut, we stayed in a house, an Airbnb built in 1770. 1770, which is wild. That was before the US was even a country, right? We stayed there for 5 nights, and the first night that we were there, like, I mean, I could kind of feel the vibes of, like, it had an upper level, which in the old days I think was just it was like I think a corn shed is what the structure was originally built for. So it had like a loft, and when it was converted into a house, like, I don't know, long time ago, they made it into like proper, like, upstairs, 2 upstairs bedrooms, but you know, it's still the kind where the roof slopes like this. So if you walk too close to the side, you can hit your head, like that kind of thing. But and the stairs were really steep going up to these 2 rooms, and there was a door behind the stairs as well. So just very creepy. But I could definitely feel like vibes in there. So I'm downstairs the first night that we're there, and I could swear that I see, you know, I'm scrolling on my phone. I could swear that out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a black, like a sphere, an orb, like kind of go like that into the TV, the credenza, or the TV stand, console thing, and when it went into it, it made an audible, like, a thump, and I'm like, huh, that is interesting. Anytime I see something, I kind of write it off. I kind of think to myself, I don't write it off. I think to myself, okay, did you really just see this? Did you really just hear this? Did you really just experience this? What else could it have been? Could it have been a reflection? Was there a car passing by a window that could have cast some sort of a weird light? You know, all that. And that night I was like, okay, no, I really did experience that. And then I just kind of like forgot about it. I went about my business for the next few nights. Nothing happened, nothing weird. Still feeling the vibes upstairs where I'm sleeping. And then the last night before we leave, there's a guest book that they want you to fill out. Like, thank you for this day. We did this and that. Then the very last night, I'm upstairs in my bedroom. Again, I'm on my phone. I'm like kind of scrolling a little bit, looking at my pictures I took throughout the day. And then out of the corner of my eye up here, I see the shape again. But this time it's not exactly out of the corner of my eye. It is initially, but then I look like this, and I actually look at it, directly at it. And it's the same thing. It's a black, like, sphere, and it moves like this, like that. And then it just, like, disappears. It's right inside the other bedroom. We weren't sleeping in this other bedroom, but we had the doors all open so we could see into the other bedroom. And it was just inside the threshold of that bedroom. That bedroom, I felt like when I went in it, I always felt like I was kind of being watched. Like, there was just that sense of like somebody's looking at you. And that's where I saw this black thing just kind of glide across the floor, super smooth, no unevenness. It almost looked like when you see if you know what, like, a rat looks like running across the room, but you can usually hear the rat because there's just scratching, or It's not perfectly like this was like hovering above the floor, like gliding like that, super smooth. And I looked right at it. I love this stuff. I love the paranormal. I love talking about ghosts. I love being sensitive to this sort of energy, but that scared me. That scared me. I don't know why. I think it's because usually when I have experiences like this, I'll sense things, I'll hear things. I very, 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 very rarely ever see something with my own eyes. And to have it happen not once but twice in this house, especially so close to where I'm going to sleep, in the case of the second time I saw it, um, it spooked me. And I even took pictures that night. I was trying to take pictures of that area again, like right after that, to try and capture it again. I couldn't, obviously. Um, but I took pictures of my arms because the hairs on my arms were just standing on edge. I had goosebumps like on my arms, and I was just like, anytime I remembered it, I would get chills. It was just, it probably wasn't anything harmful. It probably wasn't anything. It may have been a residual thing. It may not even have known I was there. But still, when you see things like this, you almost, you get the sense of wanting to be a better person, because it makes you understand and realize that there's some other element to our existence that we're not completely keyed into, and there's something more than what we see right in front of us day to day. So that happening, you when you've experienced it to that level, when you see with your own eyes, like, it makes you feel like you want to be a better person, because we just don't know, like, what more is there. There's what we see, right? There's my camera right here, here's my computer, here's my bottle of water, here's my phone, here's my chair, here's my collection. But what am I not seeing? What else is there? And what is it? What is it? Spirits, ghosts? What does that even mean? Like, I've thought about this so much. Like, I cannot say what a ghost is. I can't say what a spirit is. I mean, maybe spirits are I've joked about this before. Maybe spirits are just like aliens coming in from space and like making themselves invisible. Maybe ghosts are maybe they really are like people that have passed on. Or maybe there's some other sort of being that we lack the senses to perceive, right? You had eyes, and you had ears, and you had a nose, but you didn't have a mouth. You wouldn't be able to taste what something is like, right? Or if you didn't have the eyes and you had everything else, you wouldn't know what vision is. You wouldn't know that you're missing or lacking vision, because vision isn't a thing to you. What if there's just something else that we just lack the senses in order to perceive it being around us? I mean, it could very well be something like that. There's a whole other natural world around us that sometimes, for whatever reason, crosses that boundary, and we're able to pick up on it. It's more so than others, but for the most part, we're just not keyed into it. I mean, I have no idea. There's so many possibilities, and I don't think we're ever really gonna know 100%. Um, Partly because this stuff isn't really studied at any academic, like, serious level, right? It's considered like pseudoscience, um, which is a shame, because I think we should study every element of the world around us, even things we're not seeing. I mean, we know that the wind is there because we feel it, but we don't see it with our eyes, right? We should study all aspects of human existence academically, and we don't do that. So maybe even when we pass on, maybe we still won't have all the answers. I hope we do. I'd love to know everything, like, at that point, but I just, we don't know. But what I am convinced of at this point is that there is another element to our existence. There is a whole other piece of this puzzle that we're not seeing, that we don't have access to most of the time. But for whatever reason, every now and again, there is that little bit of overlap. Let me tell you another one. Earlier this year, So my husband and I, we like riding bikes. My husband's a little more avid, more into it than I am, but we both enjoy doing it. Um, he had a flat tire. I think it was in March. He had a flat tire. I went to pick him up and I took him to a bike shop. I'd never been to this bike shop. I was aware of it. I'd never been to it though. I pick him up, go to the bike shop, and then I go inside with him. As soon as I go inside, I tell him, there's something here. Like, I could feel it. All right. As soon as you walk into a place, like, like, I mean, I know when there's something there. I just feel it. So I told him, like, there's something here. Like, it was heavy. It was heavier than usually it is when I go to places and feel something. So he's like, oh, interesting. And then, so I go and talk to like the manager that's working there. And, I don't ask him if it's haunted, nothing like that. I say, can you give me a little bit of history about this building? And he says, oh yeah. So this building was built as a winery. Um, it was a bank for a period of time. And then later on, it became a bike store. And that's where you're at now. It's an interesting place because it looks almost like, if you're familiar with like the California missions, like it kind of has like that sort of, it looks like almost like a church kind of a thing, but it's not. It never has been. But you go inside there, it just has that feel. He says, yeah, so it used to be a winery, it was a bank, it was a bike shop. And he says, but there is an interesting thing. Like, are you okay with scary stories? And I'm like, yes, I'm okay with scary stories. Like, you don't scare easily. Like, if I tell you something a little, no, I want to hear it. He tells me, well, when this place was a bank, um, one of the employees got into some financial trouble, pretty serious financial trouble. And in this building, he hung himself. Um, and I was like, okay, well, thinking to myself, well, then this makes sense. It makes sense why it feels like this in here. And this isn't the first time I've had that kind of thing happen. I've been to other places where, I casually like asked, or I casually said everything to not ask, but try to get the information about if a place is haunted. And it has happened before where, I'll feel it and then I'll find out, like, somebody will say, okay, yes, there's been weird things happening here. This happened there. That's happened there. We live in a weird world. We live in a very interesting, weird world. And again, I hope one day we have all the answers. I hope one day we have more answers. I hope we study what we don't understand. I hope we create a world. We create an environment where it's acceptable and safe, and it's good to study these things because, like I said, most of the time these things are looked at as pseudoscience and they're laughed at, and like, it's like, oh, you're nuts. Um, so yeah, I have a lot more going back to when I was a kid. I mean, this stuff has followed me around all my life. But it's become more pronounced, I think, as an adult. I think my senses have just developed, and I've been able to, like, I don't know, own it a little bit more, I guess. Or it's not even the kind of thing that requires effort. It's just like you walk into a place and you can feel things. Um, what I should do is find the clip of Cantina Social Hour back from March of 2023 when I had Ryan Laser Pants on. And I was on doing the show just like we are now. And I'm talking to Ryan, and right here next to me, I hear like that, something like that. And you see me like stop, like look over like that, and then continue talking because I'm not going to stay in the middle of the show. Like, I heard a voice, right? But when you go back to the replay and you rewatch that segment, the microphone actually picked it up. Like, you hear the like that. So again, we live in a weird world. We live in a really weird world. What else? I guess I should share one from when I was a kid. The house that my family and I, we lived in a house for a little while, and then we moved into a larger house a little bit later. Um, and I could still see it in my head. There, we had a coffee. This wasn't an old house. It was brand new construction. But we had a lamp on a table, like a clay lamp on a like a coffee table. And my sister and I were playing. We were running around, and the lamp, it's in the middle of this coffee table where it always is. And we're playing around. We're running around. This lamp goes off the coffee table. It's the tile floor and shatters into a bunch of pieces. And next, my mom comes running out and she's like, "What did you guys do? Why did you do that? Why did you break that?" And we're like, "We didn't even touch it. We didn't do anything." Like it just. Well, I'm getting kind of like chills a little bit. It just broke. And of course she didn't believe us, but I mean I could still see it in my head, like this lamp just going like that off the table. And then years later, when I was in high school, this was probably like, gosh, this probably was like 12, 13 years after that event. Spot the same exact spot of our living room in that house. I was sitting on the couch watching a movie. My mom was on the other couch watching a movie, and she, in that same spot, she had a tree, like a fake tree, like a plastic leaves tree. And all of a sudden, all the doors were closed. AC, I don't think, was on. This tree just like shook for just for like 2 seconds. And I'm like, "Mom, did you see that?" And of course, she's on this other couch facing the other towards the TV, and she did not see it. She didn't, it was, I saw it. She didn't see it. She was like, "See what?" Like, "The tree just shook." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "The tree just shook." And I think she just kind of like looked at me and just like turned around and probably, forgot about it. But it was in the exact same spot that coffee table had been years before, where the lamp just like went off the table. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about that spot in the living room. But again, the house wasn't old. It was new construction at the time. It's kind of old now, I guess. But yeah, weird. That's probably the earliest thing I can remember. Was that lamp? Because I was probably like 5 or 6, something like that. Maybe like 6. Anyway, I have a million stories I could share. I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, it's interesting, right? Things are really, really interesting. Did I see that Jason is here? Jason, hey, how's it going? He says, "What I'm pretty sure of is we are not experiencing the whole of reality. Our senses allow us to interface with reality so our brains can make sense of it." I've thought of this as well. I talked to my husband about this. Like, what if our brains are like basically what you're saying, like are adjusting things, right? Like our body and our it's constantly making adjustments. Our mind is constantly making adjustments so that we're not overwhelmed with all the information. Like, this is science. This has been looked at. Our brain like shuts things out so we can focus on things. Otherwise, we become overwhelmed, right? Um, yeah. What if there's some other biological element? Oh, my ear's starting to ring a little bit. I know what that means. What if there's some other element to our existence? Yeah, like what you're saying here, that kind of blocks out, or has, maybe we had a sense at one point, an extra sense that has been like closed off for the most part, so that we can't experience whatever that was anymore. Or is it the opposite? We're developing a new sense so that we can. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to think about. Adam says, all we know is the minuscule amount of direct experience we have had on this tiny speck of dust in a largely unknown universe. That's a really good point. This is a large universe. This is a really big universe. We only know like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of everything, right? Yeah. It is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Let's see, what else do we got here? Allison says, I think you need to be open to experiencing phenomena like that. So many people as children have that, but when they grow older, they lose it. I feel like my sense of it has grown stronger as I've grown older, but that could be because I've become more and more and more and more like open to all kinds of things as I've matured. Let me tell you one more. I know I said I was going to stop there. I'm not. Once I start talking about this stuff, I can keep going. I have a bunch of stories, lots of stories. But let me tell you one more, because it ties into my Halloween costumes to some extent. First, I need a sip of water because my voice is starting to feel like kind of sore from talking. So at Disneyland, there's a place called the Golden Horseshoe. It was the Golden Horseshoe Review, which I think is in the Guinness World Book of World Records for being the longest running live performance show of all time. And I think it was something like 40,000 performances from like 1955 all the way to 1986. And it even had the same actors for most of the duration, the two main actors. Wally Bogue, who was one of the voice actors for Disney, like some of the other attractions. If you know the Enchanted Tiki Room, he did the Jose, the parrot in that attraction. And then Betty Taylor, who also did stuff Disney. They were the two main characters of this show, and they show for a really long time. But well, what's interesting is a side note, but when Wally Bogue died, Betty Taylor died the next day. And they weren't like together. They weren't like married, anything like that. They lived like far apart. But it was just interesting that happened. Anyway, the Golden Horseshoe is one of the few places at Disneyland that I walk in feel vibes. Like Haunted Mansion, I mean, you would want that to be a haunted place. I don't feel anything in there. The Golden Horseshoe, however, I walk in there and I feel a little bit. This is another thing I've experienced before, where about a year ago I went into the Golden Horseshoe. There's a lower level, there's an upper level, and so usually when I go to Disney, I go by myself most of the time, and I like to take it slow. Sometimes I'll just go for like a half day or whatever. Upstairs, I was on one side of the upper floor, and they sell food downstairs. They don't really do shows there anymore. They still have the stage and all that. It still looks like it did in the 50s for the most part. But you can buy food. So I bought food, went upstairs to eat, and I went and sat like on one side of the upper floor. It's like a horseshoe shaped, kind of going around the, like it kind of curves around, and the stage is in the very front or the back. But so I went and sat over there, and I was eating my food, and I noticed the light next to me just started like flickering, and then it would go back to normal. Then it started flickering, then it go back to normal. And it wasn't doing this before I sat there, but as I sat there, I noticed it was doing it. And then I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I left, kind of dismissed it, didn't really think about it anymore. Then earlier this year, I went back to the Golden Horseshoe, did the same thing, got some food, went upstairs to eat. This time I went on the opposite side of the building, on the second floor. Sat down to eat. After I sat down, after a few minutes, that light started like flickering. started flashing. Exactly the same way that the other light had been doing. I looked over from my vantage point. I could see where the other area was. The other light, it wasn't flickering. None of the other lights were flickering in there. Just like the last time I had done the same thing. I looked around. I was the only light. Got up and left, and it didn't seem like it was flickering anymore. This has happened with me before, where lights will be normal, and then I'll just happen to pass by, and then they'll start flickering. We went on a walk in the neighborhood, and it was an area we hadn't been walked by, and there was a light like this, like a street light. It was a normal street light, big street light. It was normal, nothing weird. But then I walked next to it and it starts doing the same thing, like flashing, flickering, and then I walk away and it's normal. So I started thinking, like, maybe it's me. Like, maybe I'm drawing like all this, all this stuff. I'm the conductor for this stuff or something. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm going to leave my stories at that. I'm going to show you my Halloween costumes for this year. But I do see a couple comments I do want to call out. Thank you, Stephen. We appreciate you joining in. Good night. Adam says he remembers that social hour with the sound. Jason is working in and out of the cantina. Love it. I think we could empty the office in the back, Jason, for if you want to work in the office. If you want to work in the office in the back, we can do that. All right, so let's see. Mary says the spirit was trying to communicate with me. Yeah, it could be. It could be that. July through November, so Jason says, I live and grew up in the town that Stranger Things is based on. The MK Ultra studies of the 80s. As a kid, this was well known. The Montauk Project, extensive research carried out on ESP. I need to read up on this. Alex says, you asked about La Llorona. I visited my family in Mexico in the state of Sinaloa in my teens. I would see this lady in a white dress by the canal at night. My cousin's teasing. She's weeping for her kids. Ooh, that's creepy. That is very creepy. I would go out there and be like, hey, girl, what's up? No, I probably wouldn't be doing that. I'd probably be scared too. POV1 says, I had to change the laundry, and the moment my foot touched the floor, the light bulb blew out. You never saw someone bolt up the stairs so fast. So scary. When did that happen? Was that right now? Okay, let me grab some pictures of my Halloween costumes. So usually, you guys, historically, as an adult, I don't usually dress up for Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. But I usually don't dress up for Halloween. At least that's been the case for most of the time. But let me go ahead and show you. This year so far, I've dressed up 3 times for 3 separate events. And each of these costumes was an absolute delight. An absolute delight to put together and to wear. So let me show you what I got here. I'm just going to airdrop a few photos from my phone to my computer, and then we'll take a look at those. And I think Adam mentioned he saw my Instagram stories and was able to see one of them earlier. Okay, let's go ahead and pull these up. So last Thursday, last Thursday, I hadn't been to a Halloween party at Disneyland in many years. They used to have the Halloween party in Disneyland Park. And I think that was the last one I went to, was like in 2013. For the last several years, though, it's been in Disney California Adventure, at least since COVID. And I hadn't been to that party. It's called the Oogie Boogie Bash. Oogie Boogie, the character from Nightmare Before Christmas. And I decided for this year to do a Disney-themed costume. So I went as if you know the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, there's a scene in the attic where there's a bride in the attic. Um, at the Disneyland version of the ride, because there is also it exists in Walt Disney World in Florida. In the Disneyland California version, earlier this year they changed out the bride to a brand new bride. So now she stands there in the attic. Before she had there's been several versions over the decades, but the most recent one before the current one was she had an axe, and they had changed the story to she's murdering her husbands. But now the story's been changed, so she's no longer murdering her husbands. But they are still disappearing. Like as you go through the attic, you see them disappearing from the wedding portraits. In this version, the bride is like a ghostly figure. She doesn't talk. She doesn't really do much. She blinks. You can kind of see her clothes like kind of flowing, like this white bluish color. And she's holding a candelabra with 3 candles on it. And there's a one-eyed cat, which if you know Haunted Mansion, they're part of the lore of Haunted Mansion is like there's a one-eyed cat that you can spot in different parts of the attraction. And initially was going to be like kind of one of the narrators of the ride. That didn't happen. But she's standing there. She's got her candelabra, and she has a red beating heart that beats like back and forth. Like you could see it beating. And she just kind of stares at you as you go by in your doom buggy, gliding across the attic. And it's really cool. It's a really they did a really nice job with the latest version. And when I first saw that new version, I thought, hey, that kind of looks like me. Like she's got like the black hair. She's very spooky, pale, like looking. And I thought after I saw her, I thought I want to be that for Halloween this year. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do that, I should go to the Disney Halloween party, right? So that's what I did. So I went as the bride in the attic from the Haunted Mansion, as you can see here. And I completely put this costume together, like basically from scratch. Just bought everything separate. And it was kind of funny too, because I have not worn I haven't been dressed as a bride, obviously, since like my wedding, which is a while ago now. So to wear like a wedding dress looking thing and go out in public in it was kind of weird, but kind of nice also in a way. But yeah, I bought the candelabra. My husband and I had to do a little bit of tweaking to get these LED candles to fit, but we were able to get it to work. And then I kind of like secured them in place. And then I just went around Disney with the candelabra and my my wedding dress and veil and everything and the beating heart. And it was a fairly, there were people, they recognized who I was. If you're a Disney fan, you're walking around Disney parks, like you knew what it was. And I had cast members like telling me like, making references to the ride and stuff. So it was a fun costume. I'll show you what it looked like. Um, at night, this is what it looked like. So they do a really nice job making the Disney California Adventure Park like really Halloween feeling, like spooky for this Halloween party. The wait times on the rides were pretty low. It was really nice. And they have this area called Villains Grove, and they did a really nice job like with the lighting and everything, making it feel really like a fun, like Halloween creepy maze kind of thing. Not super scary, but like spooky. Maleficent was in there. Or she was nearby. And she said that she needed to recruit a helper, and I'm like, yes. And she said she would call him. She said she would call me when the time came. So Maleficent, I'm waiting for your call. Let me know when you want to get together and do something. But yeah, so this was a very fun, spooky costume. The next one that I did, so the next night we went to. Oh, my husband was Peter Pan, by the way, for this event. The next night we went to a Halloween party that we were invited to, and I resurrected. This is the costume I actually did last year. This was Dolores from Beetlejuice. So I resurrected this from last year and just kind of redid it. And there's a little bit of a hidden fact here that this dress is actually the same one that I wore for the bride in the attic, but it's black. the same exact dress, but this one had like a thing underneath it to make it a little more like but yeah, so I did like the face makeup and everything, and last year when I did it, I don't, you guys probably remember, I had platinum blonde hair, so I had to wear a black wig. This year I didn't have to wear the wig. I just used my normal hair. So that was fun. And then this last night we did a Halloween themed bike ride, and I decided to go as Batman or Batgirl or whatever you want to call it. So it was a Halloween costume bicycle ride, which was a lot of fun. And a lot of folks were in costume, and we just kind of went around doing different going to different places and just having fun. There was a costume contest, and so I love Batman, as I was saying earlier, and I really wanted to do something with Batman or Batgirl or whatever. So I kind of put this together. It wasn't like a costume that I bought. I mean, the cape I had to buy. I bought it at a local Halloween store. I forget if it was Spirit Halloween or what it was. The mask, I bought that on Amazon. The shirt came from Amazon. The gauntlets are like rubies, like gauntlets. And then I had the shirt, like the shirt under, and then the pants and the Doc Martens. Like that was just like my thing. And then it was a bike ride, so I downloaded like the different Batman themes from the different Batman films, and I put them on a playlist, and then I put a Bluetooth speaker on the bike, and as I was riding around, I was blasting like the Batman theme from like Batman 89, The Dark Knight, and the 2022 The Batman, and then some of like the related songs. Why am I doing balloons? Some of the related songs that were there. So like I'm trying to think, like what did I have on there? I had like Susie and the Banshees, like Batman Returns soundtrack. I also did I did like Nirvana, Something in the Way, just like anything that was related to those films. And I had too much fun. I'm not gonna lie, I had too much fun doing this because I was on my bike. It's a road bike, so you're kind of like hunched over, and the cape is billowing in the wind, and you got the Batman theme blaring. It was a blast. I had too much fun with it. My bike is black as well. So, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to feel like Batman every now and then? So I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. So, and my husband went as a Jason Bateman from American Psycho, which was a really fun costume too. So we had a really good time. We had a really, really, really good time doing all this. If you go to my Instagram stories, let's see, maybe I can pull it up here. I have a really short, here, I'll try and show it here. I have a really short clip that my husband took of me on the bike. And it's just like a little moment of me having the time of my life, basically, as a Batman or Batgirl or whatever. So, yeah. There on my bike, cape billowing in the wind. It was so fun, you guys. I wish I could do that every day, dress as Batman and ride my bike. How fun would that be? So the great thing about Halloween is that you can do things out of your comfort zone. You can do things that you normally wouldn't do as far as costumes go, and like how you want to depict yourself for these kinds of events. So 3 costumes tomorrow night. I'm probably going to stay home, probably going to pass out Halloween candy. And I'm looking forward to doing that because we have a lot of fun. We get lots of kids in our neighborhood that come by. And I don't know what costume I do. Maybe I'll put Batman back on. Maybe I'll do something different. I have like a, like I mentioned the other muertos, like I have like the headpiece and the I could do like the face makeup, so you look like one of the skeletons, like that kind of thing, like Coco, like one of those sorts of things. So I might do something like that. Sci-Fi Dude says, I think you would make a great Wednesday Addams. That would be a fun one. I've never done that one before. Thank you, Mary. Great costume. Thank you, Sci-Fi Dude. Thank you, Dodgson. And Sci-Fi Dude also says, thank you for sharing. I'm glad we're not alone in these experiences. Are you a medium? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I'm sensitive to energies. I definitely pick up on vibes. I definitely pick up on things, even with people, not deceased people or ghosts or whatever, but even with people, I pick up on energies and vibes very easily, even before other people might. So I'm very sensitive to that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's all it is. I'm just sensitive to whether it's a ghost or it's a real person. Like I just pick up on those energies. I wouldn't consider myself psychic. I wouldn't consider myself a medium. Nothing like that. Not that it wouldn't be cool. I haven't had like experiences so profound that I would call myself those kinds of things. But maybe it could say that could be developed. I have no idea. But it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I guess that does it. Well, we have one more segment, you guys. We're not going to forget about new acquisitions. I know we've been going almost 3 hours, but we're not going to forget about new acquisitions. So what time is it? It is going to be this time right here. Good. New acquisitions. I'm kind of bummed out because in the other room, I have my Darth Vader TIE Fighter that came in earlier this week. I'm kind of bummed out that I forgot to grab it before I came into to the streaming room, the collection room. So I'll show that next week. Let me start with my acquisitions. You guys let me know in the chat what you've gotten this week, and I'll call them out before we depart. This is what I got. All right. So I mentioned this one last week because it was the same thing. I forgot it in the other room, but I'm going to show it to you this time. I got the Disney Droid Depot Star Wars R2H25. This is their holiday droid for 2025. They do one every year. And it's fun. At the back it says that this droid aided the resistance along with BB-H20 on the salty mineral world of Crate. Join R2H25 on their adventures throughout the galaxy. May the force be with you and your droids. They didn't capitalize resistance for some reason. Anyway, basically it's a droid with a candy cane coming out of its head. So, I mean, yeah, Crate, why not? It looks like Crate. It looks like Crate. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I buy all of these because I like that kind of thing. I got another Droid Depot for you guys. This one went up per order last week, I think. And I bought two. I wanted to keep one on card. So I got DJ Rex, DJ R3X from the Oga's Cantina and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney. And it's a really fun figure. It's a really fun figure. As you may recall, they did release one with the Star Speeder. The Star Speeder 3000 that came out last year. But this is the DJ version. This is what he went on to do after Star Tours when they determined he wasn't a good pilot. So this is a really fun one. And I've really wanted, Hasbro made one for Black Series. And I for years, I was like, when are they going to shrink it down and do it in TVC? They never did. But thankfully, Disney is picking up Hasbro's slack in that regard. And they gave us DJ Rex. So I'm thinking of putting him in the Cantina, you guys. I mean, why not? Maybe when the modal nodes aren't there, maybe DJ Rex is in there spitting music. Why not? Why not? I also got this because I'm weird. I bought a third land speeder. Now, I didn't buy a third land speeder for the land speeder. I'll be honest. I bought a third land speeder because I wanted the Luke figure. I had two already, but one I was keeping on card, and the other one I opened and put him in the land speeder. But if you know, like the Luke figure in here is better than the mainline TVC version. He just looks better. He's got all his accessories. So I wanted to get one more at least. So I bought a third land speeder just to get an extra one of those Lukes to have on display. So I'll probably put this one inside the Cantina, replace the mainline version. Halloween, right? McDonald's. Last week I got one of the, they have the Halloween pails, Halloween buckets, boo buckets back this year. And they have several different ones, like even compared to like previous years. Like they actually have like a red one and they have a black one. The black one's the black cat. That's the one I really wanted, but this is what I got. I haven't been able to get the black cat. I got one more day to get the black cat. Hopefully I can track down the black cat tomorrow somehow. Maybe that's what I'll pick up for lunch or something. And then the last thing that I have, this came in today actually. So this is a McFarlane Batman. This is an Amazon exclusive. This is the New 52. If you guys remember the New 52 DC thing from like a decade plus ago. Batman with the Bat Glider. This was on Amazon for maybe a couple weeks. And I had it like in my cart, just like, okay, you guys know this full well. Too many things processing in September, too many things processing in October. It was the kind of thing where I'm going to put it in my cart, but I'm not going to buy it until next month. Well, you know how that goes. Sometimes things sell out. It sold out. I missed it. I was going to have to go to eBay. But Amazon, if you guys, some of you probably know this, that when they get returns, occasionally they list them back on their site, but at a discounted price because there was like a box issue or something. And this one right here was an Amazon return, I believe, because it had damage to the box. And there is damage to the box, so I'm guessing whoever bought it was going to be a boxed collector, but they saw the damage and they were like, no, I'm going to send it back. Maybe they bought another one, who knows. This one is completely brand new. It looks like maybe the box like accidentally got open, but it is, you can even see the plastic like bands holding the figure in place. So I saved, actually, instead of having to go to eBay and spend like a third of the price extra beyond what it was going to be on Amazon, I actually got this one like a third of the price less than it was on Amazon originally because of the damaged box. So I'm perfectly good with that. I came out on top in the end. And the figure looks cool. I mean, he's on his glider. This is what he used in the New 52 comics to fly around in. The figure looks great. And I can't wait to get him open. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I think those are all my new acquisitions other than the TIE Fighter, which I'll bring that in next week and show you guys. But I think that's all I received. This week, I believe. So that's for me. Let me go into the chat and see what you guys have been adding to your collections. Britt says, got the 3 X-Men 97 2-packs. Also got the Darius, Kenji, and Yas from Chaos Theory. Very hyped for the final season. Awesome. And Britt, did you know that I don't know if you can order, but on it's actually, you can buy it on Amazon, but it comes from Amazon UK somehow to the US. But the Advent calendar has the Chaos Theory Brooklyn in it. And I need to pull the trigger on that one before that one sells out too. But yeah, so you can actually get Brooklyn as well through that set. Unfortunately, we still don't have Sammy. Hopefully they'll make a way to get Sammy at some point. Jason got nothing. He's all caught up. Jedi Greedo, how's it going? Jedi Greedo? Greedo?
Yes, I bet you have.
Makanki.
Jedi Greedo got Dash Rendar. He turned out so great. Looking forward to more Shadows of the Empire. I'd love to see some retro card releases. Alex. Hey, Alex. Got I received my G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Desert Scorpion. Awesome. Allison says, my Lego Bricklink Adventures in Transylvania arrived. Been building that during the stream. Nice. PKV1 says, new acquisitions, a lot. Darth Vader, TIE Fighter, Chewie, Ben, Stormtrooper alternate card, Micro Squad, Arc 170, and tonight I got the Vault 104th Battalion ATT Wolfpack set. Awesome. Allison says, I should put the droid in the Cantina. Would be a great fit. I think I'm going to do that. Why not? Adam got the Darth Vader TIE Fighter, NECA Dracula with his accessory pack, and black and white Wolfman. Dodgson, Part 1. I scored another bid last week, which included the Lost World Mobile Command Center fences. Ooh. the Lost World Parasaur Olephas, Damage, the Lost World Trike, Cyclops Raptor, and the Lost World Regular Raptor, JP Dinos, Spinosaur, Hatchling. Nice. Mary says, I got the Darth Vader TIE Fighter. Dodgson, Part 2, the Lost World T-Rex, Keychain, I believe Junior T-Rex with broken leg, Pteranodon Hatchling, the Lost World, small Packy, green version, several other dinos, and 2 Kong, 8th Wonder of the World for $13. Wow. Good haul. But Dodgson says he's not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Because there is a part 3. Then the day after the swap meet, I picked up 3 Jurassic Park comic books and 2 Kenner die-cast figures, Triceratops and Dilophosaurus for $20. Nice. And finally, Britt says, oh, I've been trying to figure out how to get that. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. I hope you're able to. Let me know. I need to order it myself. I think those are all the acquisitions. You guys heard about the Ben Solo thing, right? I mean, that's a whole other thing I could talk about. Maybe we'll save that for another day. But yeah, the whole I guess Adam Driver and Steven Soderbergh were trying to get a Ben Solo movie made, and Disney said no. It's interesting. It's very. I think that would have been pretty cool. Pretty cool movie.
If you think it could be serious, ask me to call emergency services or someone you trust.
Weird. That was my phone.
Okay.
That was weird. I don't know why my phone did that. Mary says, Victoria, have you ever done Cinespia? They screen Hollywood classics in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I think you would dig it. I have not been able to do that. I would love to do that. Maybe one day. Although I do wonder if it being in the cemetery, I do wonder if I would pick up on things. Dasha says, this has been a fun social hour. Halloween special. And the soda fountain is closed. Siri is haunted. The other one says, that was awesome. Yeah, that was weird. You guys. Phone ghosts. I like it. Ghosts inside the phone. They're everywhere. I think that's all I got, you guys. Did I miss anything? Oh, I did miss a couple acquisitions because they were inside my Halloween bucket. Apparently, this is my new thing. I found out about these last week through some of my students. Target has these. I think Walmart carries them too, though. There's these little, like, mystery egg or mystery ball, like, axolotls. And they come in, like, different colors and different shapes and different designs. So you don't know what you're going to get. They come with little accessories. They have a couple Halloween-themed ones. And they come with a sticker, and they come with kinetic sand. They're interesting. I guess it's a thing I'm buying now because I have 2 of them. I don't know. You guys know how it is. I like toys. I like collectibles, and that's why we're here. I'm a little blurry. Fix it. Why am I blurry? How weird. There we go. You guys, it's been a blast. We've been going almost 3 hours, which is a long time for me to be talking by myself after talking all day long at work. So lots of talking, but it is fun. It is worth it. You guys are the best. Thank you for those of you, especially the Cantinians who have been with us the entire time. You guys rock. Appreciate you being here as always. THBS. You're gonna have to elaborate on that one. So if I do, I don't know if I know that one. You're welcome, Britt. Thank you. What is my favorite horror movie? Like for me, like the horror movies I like are the old school, like horror films, right? Like I like the Universal ones, the Universal monsters, but I also really like certain ones from the 80s, like Silver Bullet is a fun one. I like werewolves, so like Silver Bullet's fun. American Werewolf in London is fun. I mean, it's not the most scary movie, but Yeah, Silver Bullet, I think maybe it might be one of them that I really, but I like so many. Like, it's hard to say that I have a one favorite. But thank you, Chad. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween to the Cantinians indeed. Adam, have a great weekend, everyone, and a fun weekend too. And absolutely, Britt, my pleasure. You guys, this has been great. Sci-fi Dude says I've done the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Lots of fun. Nice. All right, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Love y'all. Thank you again so much for being here with me tonight. Can we do the balloons? How did the balloon thing work? That was on accident earlier. I don't even remember how. I did like the balloons. I was like doing something. I was being animated, and the balloons started to come up. Apparently not. Oh well. We're good with the hearts. They should do some Halloween reactions, right? Like ghosts, right? Like ghosts or like spiders or pumpkins. Anyway, have a safe, happy Halloween. Enjoy what you do. I need to go figure out tomorrow's costume for the candy I'm going to give out. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I'll take Sci-Fi Dude's suggestion and do the Wednesday costume. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, peace sign? Is that the one? Aha, there's the balloons. And yes, thank you for reminding me about this, Adam. Yeah, I think social hour may be on Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm working on that. It may be on Tuesday. I'll keep you guys posted, of course. And my friends, enjoy Halloween. If you celebrate Halloween like I do, and you love the spooky vibes, enjoy it. Remember that daylight savings time, I think, begins on Saturday night / Sunday morning. So there's that. Halloween weekend is probably the best time for that to happen because we do gain an hour, I guess. And yeah, have fun. Keep it spooky. Enjoy. And I love you guys. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for you guys spending your time with me on your Thursday evening. Have a great, happy Halloween. Enjoy. I'll see you guys on social media. And I'll see you guys next week for next week's episode of Cantina Social Hour. But thank you for being here for Cantina Scary Hour. And no matter where you're tuning in from, out in the galaxy, out in the universe, no matter what dimension you're coming through from, thank you for watching Cantina Scary Hour. I will see you next time. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.